BigBear.AI has been off to a great start today, up about 10% to start the day. We could see we were just taking a look at some financials this morning in our daily live session in StockMeet. And if you ever want to join us there, we were taking a look at some companies. We had some smaller cap opportunities that we were in. And take a look at this. BigBear.AI continues the hyper bull trend that we mapped out yesterday. This is really just a continuation of the trend. So it looks like we had said here it's going to continue potentially in this $8.80 range. We were looking for this move, and this is where it gets tricky when we get into super hyper bull trends because the chart doesn't let me reach. There we go. So 11% swing as of recently. Looks like it did make that move we were talking about here yesterday. It was just here. We made a video in a live session yesterday. We were talking about, hey, this is the continuation. If it bounced here, did validate this previous resistance as a support. What does that mean? It means the next resistance, or excuse me, support for Big Bear is going to be here at about $8 a share. So $8 support, the next support. The resistance levels are up really what would be into this $9 range, but could be finding its resistance right now. Why has it been surging so much? Why are we covering it here? Well, it all started when they started to get into airports. We started covering it back in October, around $1 a share. We were able to ride some of the momentum up into $10 a share by February. So in about 3 months, 4 months, it was really surging up to $10. And we see it real time. We see all of the technology start to get released. My wife and I, for example, went to fly to go to meet some friends and see some friends in Denver. And when we went through the airport, we got our face scanned at the airport here, and it was BigBear.AI technology that was there. So they got partnerships with Delta. You see Port of Vancouver. And I don't know that there was any news this morning. Doesn't look like it. But recently they did verify the big pile, the various airports and port of authorities. It's also interesting because they get into JFK, they get into Los Angeles. These are international. These are international airports and international gates. So when you look at the international gates, what does that mean? It means everybody coming from other countries, they're collecting all that data, they're building it out, and they're at the ports, they're at the oceans, they're at the different places where they have partnerships. You got the UAE even, and then you also have them joining forces with another company, Analogic, that's going out and getting more of those contracts or getting more of those traveler experiences for the company. And then on top of that, one of the reasons that we had them growing so much recently is when we looked at their financials. Yes, we'll get into that. But when we looked at their recent news, the different contracts they had were Department of Defense. We're talking about Air Force. We're talking about Navy. The same type of contracts you would expect them to really be able to build momentum out of. And so when you pair that, you kind of look at that momentum and then you look at the stock's recent moves. Part of the reason why we've been focusing on them for the last 8 months or 9 months is because they were seeing increasing revenues. They were getting their revenues up. The net incomes were having their volatility and going negative every once in a while. But you were seeing increasing revenues up into that 40 million. And then they recently reported earnings back in March, and they said that some of those earnings haven't hit yet. So we take a look at the balance sheet. They reduced their debt drastically from 350 million down to basically 200 million. And that put them at a gap between their assets and their liabilities, which indicates much more financial stability, which puts them in a better position to be able to build their company. So reducing their debt, you can see it was up there, but they recently reduced it in the last quarter, 2025. So what does that mean? they have more cash, more money that they're building, and they have less debts. So that means they're becoming healthy. Then we see them break above this $8 range, up about 9% today. Our long-term positions are doing well. We got a $2.80 average in our Schwab portfolio, and it's been excellent to see it surge up here and do well today. So when it comes to the market, AI defense, there's a lot of recent articles that come out as we see AI defense get more funding. You even had Black Sky continue the run. We are up 82% on that position right now. Part of the reason why is because of the AI defense. There's more contracts being given out right now because of the change in administration. When you looked at, for example, Black Sky, we know they were launching with Rocket Lab, and they were putting out these high cadence imagery, AI driven analytics softwares that are in their new Gen 3 satellites that they just launched with Rocket Lab. So part of the reason why we've been following them is that AI analytics, and they get a lot of the same contracts that we're seeing with Big Bear. And so Big Bear is getting some of the same contracts that maybe you see with Palantir and what have you. And that's what's putting them in and above that $2 billion market cap. So we're going to be watching Big Bear definitely throughout the week. It looks like they just passed $2.5 billion market cap, which the valuations, I think it's about 15 to 20x, whereas Palantir is like 100x. So right now, there's a lot of, talk around the valuations. If we see those airport contracts we mentioned here start to come in as news in the next quarter, and we get to see how much the value was on Dallas, for example, or Denver, or Los Angeles, or JFK, that's going to give us a lot more indication around the earnings. And these earnings, like we said, we could potentially see a surprise there. So we got to watch, as those will be coming up soon. So we just got done trading in our live session, guys. If you want to join us in our daily live trading, it's the second link below. Just made an announcement that lifetime access is going to be going away soon. So if you guys want to get access to our daily live trading and not have to pay a subscription or anything like that, it's the second link in the description below. Thanks so much for tuning in. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button, comment your thoughts down below on Big Bear, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.